Desde o início desta semana, temos vindo a anunciar que hoje estaríamos aqui com a presença de Dzerowicz nos nossos estúdios da FPTV e ela está connosco e nós vamos falar de tópicos muito importantes que estão a acontecer mundo fora, não só aqui no Canadá, mas também mundo fora. Julie, thank you for coming. It's always a pleasure having you here. And as we've been informing the community throughout the beginning of the week that you were going to be here today, I think there's a few topics that I would like to talk to you about, if possible. The first one being the situation in Iran right now.
So first, Helena, prazer estar aqui com vocês.
Obrigada.
It's a pleasure to be here as always. Look, the situation in Iran, I think, was a shock to all of us when we woke up on Saturday morning. So it's both the U.S. and Israel in Iran right now. And it was felt, it looks like both of them, both Israel and the U.S. felt that there was still a threat of nuclear enrichment and a possible nuclear attack that not only was causing not safety in the Middle East, but also against the U.S. So Canada's position is the following. What we have said is we support basically stopping any of the nuclear activity in Iran. We know that that is very bad. We've also indicated we want a diplomatic solution as soon as possible, okay? And we're hoping that whatever's happening right now, because it's not just contained in Iran and it's not just contained in Israel, there's also strikes in a number of other countries around the area. So everybody's very worried that this is going to escalate into a war within the whole Middle East, okay? So what we are saying, Canada's calling for immediate diplomatic negotiations for all parties to get to the table, for us to actually find an end to the current hostilities. As you know, all the key leaders in Iran have been killed. And so now people are wondering what is next. And so Canada, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, while she's in India, she's been on the phone with all the Middle Eastern leaders to say, get to the table, come up with a game plan for Iran and a way to end the current missile strikes and the current deaths and attacks on the infrastructure. We're also saying any Canadians that are in the area, please register with Canadians Abroad. It is basically the local agencies. While we don't have any diplomatic consular services in Iran, we do in the surrounding area. So any Canadians that are in Iran or are impacted, we're telling them, please go to your local embassy in the region and to register with Canadians Abroad.
I think that the world is kind of terrified, if I can use this word at this point. Like this morning, I was talking to some people in the Azores, and as you know, there's a very small island in the middle of the Atlantic where the base in La Tercera, where the Americans use that base as a very strategic point for them. And people are saying that they wake up in the morning and they go around the island and all they see is this space like the tarmacs filled with F-18s or F-16s like the army planes from the US. And to them, it's something completely different. Like they're in panic, but the government is just telling everyone to stay calm from what they told me. I'm just saying what, they said. And I was talking with some family this morning and they said it's sad for them.
And just so you know, it's not just the base in the Azores. There's also a base in Cyprus. There's a base in a number of different islands.
I talked about the Azores because,
That's
of yes.
But again, we're looking for an immediate end to the current sort of attack. Like we want everybody to stop. Let's figure out a game plan. We've already killed the major leaders, but now what's the next game plan for Iran? How do we make sure there's no nuclear enrichment capability? There's no more threat of nuclear a nuclear attack of any form. And so I think that is what needs to happen next.
And in regards to moving on to the visit of the Prime Minister to India and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, what can you tell us about that?
So our Prime Minister right now is visiting not only India, but he's on his way to Australia and then Japan. Look, as you know, in Canada, our Prime Minister has been talking, he says there's a rupture in the world. How we've been functioning around rules-based order and how our economy's been working in our trading system is now different, okay? So before we could rely on the United States, now we can't rely on them. They'll always be a partner. They'll always be an important partner, but now we have to redirect a lot of our trade away. So we already have trade agreements with Europe. Now we're going to maximize it. We just did we didn't do a trade agreement with China, but we basically had them undo some tariffs that they had on us, and we did the same on them. But that's going to increase trade between our countries by us doing that. And now we've just done a $70 billion two-way trade deal with India. So it's the $70 billion by 2030. And what that's going to do is it'll help us to, we call it diversification. When you put all your eggs in one basket, you rely on that one country to make all the decisions. But for us, we want to continue to create Canadian jobs, use Canadian agriculture, Canadian materials. We want to use all the Canadian products that we have here, and that forces us to actually make sure that we have strong agreements with countries around the world. But not only that we have agreements, we're actually taking advantage of those agreements. So the Canada-Europe agreement, we've had it in place for a few years, but we don't have as much trade as we need to do. So that is going to be another part of it. So it's not only India, it's not only China, it's not only Australia and Japan, which is where our Prime Minister is going next. And we already did a massive deal with Qatar as well. So we did $70 billion with them. But it's very much how do we diversify our trade so we give Canadian businesses as much opportunity as possible to do trade with a number of different countries, and it gives us as much opportunity to, so we sell our forest products. So right now the United States has put a massive tariff on our forest products. That's okay. We're setting up shop in India. They love Canadian forestry. They love the high quality of our wood. And so already we're setting up. So that's going to be a key part of what we're going to be doing with India. In China, they really love a lot of our canola. And so, they love our seafood. That's okay. So we're going to do that trade with them. So every country, we do something different. It's all about how do we make sure we are strong within our own economy. We stand on our own two feet. We create our own jobs using our own materials. And that's how we're going to make sure that we have a resilient, strong Canadian economy in a world that feels very crazy and unstable right now.
Thank you so much, Julie. It has been a pleasure having you here with all this information for our community. Our doors are always open. You know that every time there's something that you feel our community should be aware of, and they will be safe. They know they will be from the things that you explain or you explain to them. There's other topics that we would like to touch on, but eventually in another time that you have time to pass by the station. Thank you so much for coming.
Muito obrigada. It's a pleasure. Estou aqui para o servir.